共和国，简称坦桑尼亚，是古人类发源地之一，位于非洲东部赤道以南，北与肯尼亚和乌干达交界，南与赞比亚、马拉维、莫桑比克接壤，西与卢旺达、布隆迪和刚果金为邻，东临印度洋。坦桑尼亚是世界最不发达国家之一，经济以农业为主，工业生产技术低下，日常消费品需进口。目前，中国是坦桑尼亚第一大贸易伙伴，一大批中国援建或中坦合作项目为坦桑尼亚国家建设和中坦互利共赢做出巨大贡献。坦桑尼亚是世界著名的优质健麻主产区，被誉为健麻王国。本期节目，让我们走进坦桑尼亚联合共和国，通过坦桑尼亚驻华特命全权大使姆贝尔瓦·凯鲁基的讲述，了解中坦两国的传统友谊，共同期待两国新的丝路之情。坦桑尼亚出口以农产品为主，但向中国市场出口的农产品规模却很小，主要是因为坦桑尼亚生产能力不足，无法满足中国市场的需求。自建交以来，坦中两国一直保持着良好的合作关系，通过为坦桑尼亚修建小学教室、实验室、足球场，送桌椅板凳和课本，为社区打井供水，修建公路和社区活动站，送医送药等多种形式，帮助当地改善民生，让百姓共享中坦互利共赢的合作成果，受到坦桑尼亚政府和人民的广泛欢迎。尤其是健麻项目，通过捐修医院和学校，长期坚持为当地社区村民免费提供医疗服务，在当地传为佳话。
Well, Tanzania and China have excellent bilateral which has lasted for over 55 years. And in the last 40 years, the relations was more focused on political cooperation. As you might know, Tanzania was among the countries that played an important role to help China restore their rightful seat at the United Nations. But also, as you might remember, China supported Tanzania and Southern African countries during the liberation struggle. Thus, that's why the Tanzania Railway was built in 1970s to facilitate liberation struggle. But in the last 20 years, the cooperation has moved from political to economic cooperation. We have seen increase in trade volumes between Tanzania and China. As of 2 years ago, the volume reached $4.7 billion. We have seen an increase in investment. As a matter of fact, China is number one investor in Tanzania with a total volume cumulative of $7 billion. But also, we have seen now increase in cooperation in other areas like people-to-people cooperation. In the last 5 years, a number of students from Tanzania to China has increased from 1,000 to 5,000. We have seen an increase in number of tourists from China going to Tanzania. As you know, China is an emerging market in the tourism sector. And in the year 2017, the number of Chinese visitors to Tanzania was 20,000. So 20,000. But last year it reached 34,000. So the cooperation is all around, and we are seeing improvement in all aspects. Well, when we talk of people-to-people connectivity, one area I mentioned is about capacity building, training of experts. And I would like to give you one good example that is close to my heart. In terms of cooperation projects and people-to-people, one area is capacity building, training, and specifically the training of medical doctors. We have a program of bringing 20 medical doctors from Tanzania every year to pursue studies at master's level and specialty level and super specialty level. There are areas like radiology, nephrology, cardiology, and so on. These areas we have shortage of experts, and China has provided us with the opportunity to train these experts in China. In particular, we have a good number of doctors that are training in Shandong province, the Shandong hospital. This has big impact to the health of our people. But besides that, we have a cooperation between, institutional cooperation in this area. Like we have cooperation between Tanzania's National Cardiac Center, it's called Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute, with Fuwai Cardiovascular Center in China. Fuwai is one of the top around the world. And through this cooperation, experts from Tanzania have been attached to Fuwai for training. Now, this transfer of skills and knowledge from medical experts in China to experts in Tanzania contribute directly to saving lives of millions of Tanzanians. Before such cooperation started, we had to depend on referring our patients to abroad, especially India. And you know what that means. It means you need money for the tickets to go to India, you need costs of the hotels in India, you need to pay high fees in India. That means we are spending a lot of foreign exchange abroad for treatment. But now with this cooperation program, having built our capacity, we've seen a number of people who are referred to India going down. That means we are saving foreign exchange that we've been spending outside, but also we are saving lives, which is most important. So some of the diseases that people were dying from, now they no longer kill people because we have expertise, and thanks to the cooperation that we have had with China. And this is a classic example of the benefit of Belt and Road besides economic life-saving.
近年来，中韩经济关系更加紧密，在贸易、基础设施及投资领域的合作更加多元。两国之间经济、金融和技术领域的合作已经超越政府层面，越来越多的私营公司和个体贸易商参与进来。“一带一路”倡议已在坦桑尼亚结出硕果，达雷斯萨拉姆港口扩建、姆特瓦拉港口扩建以及尼雷尔国际机场3号航站楼的建设，都是落实“一带一路”倡议的生动实例。目前，中国已成为坦桑尼亚最大贸易伙伴、最大工程承包方和主要投资来源国。
Indeed, Tanzania is one of the countries supporting Belt and Road. In the year 2018, we signed a memorandum of understanding to support this great initiative. And we believe that this Belt and Road initiative provides a platform to engage, platform to consult, and also a platform to cooperate. Belt and Road is about connectivity of people, connectivity of infrastructure, connectivity of trade, and connectivity of policy. As I mentioned earlier, we are seeing increasing numbers in tourists, students. That's connectivity of people. Belt and Road provides plenty of opportunities for Tanzanians to pursue short-term and long-term programs here in China, which is a fundamental in any cooperation, because it's like teaching how to fish instead of giving us fish. So we are very grateful. And in the last 2 years, we've focused in specific areas in engineering, because we are doing a lot of infrastructure projects, but we need to build our capacity to manage, to supervise, to maintain these infrastructure projects that we're engaging on. So China is providing that opportunity for building capacity of our experts. But also In other areas like infrastructure development, Chinese technology has made a great impact in Tanzania. Today, our country is connected with the road network, every part of the country, and thanks to Chinese enterprises that have been engaging in construction industry. But also, today we are expanding our port of Dar es Salaam. We're building new berths and we are revitalizing the existing ones. Guess who's doing that job? It's Chinese. And because they're bringing technology, they're bringing expertise, but also there's the issue of affordability. The cost by these enterprises is much better and very competitive compared to other enterprises from other countries. But also there are areas where now we are focusing on, like energy. The government of Tanzania is now embarking on the construction of hydropower projects, which is going to generate about 2,000 megawatts. And of course, the objective of this project, one, is to provide affordable power to the people, but also to the industry, because you cannot attract manufacturers and other investors if you don't have reliable power. And also, this project will contribute to tourism, because it is designed in such a way to have recreational facilities of which we are expecting tourists from all around the world, including China, to come and visit. And thirdly, this project will enable our people who live around the river now to be safe, because before this project there was a lot of floods and people were losing their lives. Now, this project is being contracted to a firm in Egypt, but that firm has subcontracted this project to a Chinese enterprise. So this one also is another contribution in terms of expertise in this area of construction of hydropower projects. We know China is very much advanced with the example of Three Gorges project here. We wish to see also our Julius Nyerere hydropower projects complete in time and start delivering what we are expecting. But the third area is area of construction of airports. Tanzania has recently launched a new terminal in the commercial city of Dar es Salaam, and our aim is to facilitate the movement of people, especially tourists, investors, traders from all over the world to come to Tanzania. And this upgrading of the airport is going hand in hand with revitalizing of our national carrier, Air Tanzania, which is now operating, going within the region, but also it has started going to other places like India. And our hope is, if it's not end of this year, early next year, we'll start direct flights to China. And this will facilitate investors, traders, tourists, students from our two countries to freely move from one point to another within the shortest time possible. And this is a classic expectations by the founders of the Belt and Road Initiative, connectivity of people. So Tanzania is very much engaged with China, but not only with China, with other countries that supports Belt and Road Initiative. Because to many people, they think Belt and Road is China's baby. Instead, the reality is China has established this platform, but this platform provides an opportunity for countries to cooperate, even without Chinese presence. As the example that I gave you, we are working with Egypt to build hydropower projects. We are working with Turkey to build a railway project, about 1,800 kilometer long railway to connect Tanzania and Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC. All this is part of the Belt and Road cooperation that we could mention. And within such projects, some equipment, some materials will come from one other country, this country, that, also supporting Belt and Road projects. So that's the way we think we are playing our role in this.
坦桑尼亚是一带一路倡议的重要支点，是海上丝绸之路的桥头堡，是刚果金、卢旺达、布隆迪、赞比亚、马拉维等邻国进出口物资的集散地，具有明显的地缘优势和辐射能力。坦桑尼亚政治社会稳定，政党之间、宗教之间、部落都可以做到和平共处。坦桑尼亚的国际形象良好，外交政策与时俱进，坚持经济外交优先，在不少国际组织中担任重要职务，是世界经合组织和世界银行援助最多的非洲国家之一。
Well, Tanzania's foreign policy is about building cooperation, good neighborliness, and it's about economic diplomacy. That's the main emphasis now in our foreign policy. And talking of economic diplomacy, I've already mentioned to you how we are engaging China through Belt and Road to facilitate the connectivity of people, connectivity of infrastructure, connectivity of trade. That's why I told you about the numbers of trade volume between our two countries. Of course, we have so much work to do because when you talk of trade relations between our two countries, it is more in favor of China. China is the one exporting more than what Tanzania is exporting to China. But we both know this and we're doing something about it. One of the actions that we've taken is to participate in many events to promote Tanzania's products to the Chinese market. The latest event that we participated was the China International Importation Expo, the second one that took place in Shanghai last week. We were among 64 countries that were given a national pavilion, and we showcased our products. We showcased agro products, including cashew nut, coffee, tea, but also we showcased our mineral products, especially Tanzanite. Apparently, many Chinese people don't know that Tanzanite is from Tanzania. The name Tanzanite, or in Chinese Tanzania, this is a product that we cannot find it anywhere in the world except Tanzania. And it's very beautiful, very exotic, and for many Chinese, they confuse it with other minerals like sapphire or blue diamond. But this one is very unique, and I usually, to refresh their memory about what is this, I tell them, if you've watched a movie, Titanic, that pendant that was worn by Kate Winslet was Tanzanite. So it's easy for them to understand. So our hope is after this expo, of which we were very privileged to be visited at our pavilion by His Excellency President Xi Jinping, that gave us a huge coverage around China. We hope we are going to increase our sales to China, and also we're going to participate at the next year's expo. Of course, in the meantime, we have to address some of the challenges that is facing our trade. One is the supply side constraints. Chinese market is huge, and whenever they give orders of their products, what we are producing is not enough to satisfy the Chinese market. I've been working so hard to make sure that we export our soybeans to the Chinese market. But in reality, what we are producing in the whole year in Tanzania, in terms of soybeans, here in China it can be consumed in one day. So we have to up our game and make sure that we produce more, we produce enough to guarantee supply so that we can build confidence to the Chinese market that they could buy soybeans from Tanzania.
通过中非合作论坛，中国提出多项举措促进中非合作。坦桑尼亚是主要受益者之一。坦桑尼亚是中非产能合作的示范国家。中国在坦桑尼亚的投资规模持续扩大，双边贸易规模不断增长。一带一路是促进共同发展、实现共同繁荣的合作共赢之路。 目的是让沿线各国人民共享“一带一路”共建成果。中国企业到坦桑尼亚开展投资合作，在推动坦经济发展的同时，也积极履行社会责任，成为促进当地社会发展的积极因素。
Indeed, China has a platform with Africa, the Forum for China-Africa Cooperation. And this forum started in the year 2000. And through this cooperation forum, China has been committing to work with Africa in many, many areas. The last forum took place last year, and China mentioned 8 areas that will be focus of our cooperation in the next 3 years. And a lot of countries have benefited out of this cooperation. We are very grateful, we appreciate this initiative as it makes a big difference to the lives of our people in all aspects, talking of capacity building, talking of trade, talking of infrastructure, and so on. But one important thing to note is that China-Africa cooperation did not start yesterday. It goes way back to 1960s. And many people who choose to look at China-Africa relations, they are more focused on the recent projects. They will give you example of a railway project in Ethiopia, a railway project in Kenya, and then you start making noise, China is burdening Africa with debts, China is ulterior motives. But China started to support many of our countries in the 1960s. As I mentioned, the first foreign aid project that was done by China was done in Africa. And coincidentally, it was done in my country, the Tanzania Railway, the Tanzanite. This project is a symbol of China-Africa cooperation. And look here, it was done when China was a poor country. Exactly. Actually, my former president, Julius Nyerere, came here and spoke to Chairman Mao Zedong about this project. And when he was asking for support from China, he was just doing it as somebody asking a sympathetic but equally powerless friend. But Chairman Mao said, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Need it be, we're going to stop developing our own railway networks here to build this railway. And he joked, saying that we have 500 million, by then it was 500 million Chinese. If each Chinese could contribute $1, we're going to do this railway. And indeed, they committed and they did it. It is still one of the longest railway network in Africa. This was done without any conditions, and as a matter of fact, it was done with not a soft loan, interest-free loan, with a grace period of 20 years, and later on some of these debts were cancelled. So the China-Africa relations is deep-rooted, goes way, way back. So right now what we are seeing, of course, these are the modern times, the situations have changed. Maybe by then there was no social media, there was no media like this to report this kind of projects. Maybe we would have had many noises then, but because the situation was different, we did not hear any noise. But now we are hearing many noise that China having gone through the reforms and opening up in the last 40 years, they've built enough capacity, enough resources to be able to share with other countries. And by the way, China is not sharing these resources with Africa alone, it's sharing with everyone. Number one investor in China is Western countries. US has many manufacturing of their goods here. Number one investor, number one trading partner with China is not Africa. It's European and US and other Asian countries. If you look at the statistics in terms of trade, for example, many of African countries, they depend on agricultural products for their exports. This is our area of strength. But look at the numbers last year, and you know how much the entire African continent sold to China? Only $2.7 billion. And even that one, $2.7 billion, 20% 23% came from one country, Zimbabwe. They sold their tobacco because Chinese, they smoke a lot, and they imported a lot of tobacco from Zimbabwe. The rest of 53 countries exported the remaining balance. But who had the lion's share of exports to China? It was US, soybeans, $35 billion. Who else? Europeans, New Zealand, Australia, Thailand, and others. So, talking of sharing Chinese prosperity, I believe it is being shared equally. Or actually, some of the countries, some of the continents are benefiting more than Africa. So we are grateful that China decided to have a forum specifically to deal with Africa. And through this forum, they committed $60 billion in terms of investment, aid, loans, and so on. Our hope is African countries will use this to build their own capacity, but also to enable them to increase their capacity to trade with China. I think the future is on trading than on aid or loans.
国之交在于民相亲，民间交往是两国关系的基础。随着中国和坦桑尼亚政治、经济、人文交流的加深，中坦传统友好在新时代焕发更多生机。目前，中国已经成为坦桑尼亚最大的贸易伙伴国和最大的投资来源国。在“一带一路”倡议的引导下，在相互尊重、公平正义、合作共赢的原则指导下，两国的合作潜力无限，双方经贸合作发展迅速。